Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you all are aware that we are doing revision of term 1 syllabus. So in this series of revision today, in this video lesson, we are going to discuss chapter 2 Lost Spring, written by Anis Jung. So without any further delay, let's begin. First we will discuss about the author, then summary of the lesson, later MCQs will be discussed. So Anis Jung was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. Anis Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and a columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad, and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which contain these children to a life of exploitation. So this is all about the author and about the lesson. Now some difficult words and their meanings, they have already been discussed, but once again we are discussing here. If you haven't written as of now, you can note it down. That is, looking for, everyone is aware. Looking for means searching. Looking for means searching. Everyone is aware. Perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual state of poverty. That is continuous condition of being poor, which means continuous state of being poor. Continuous state of being poor. Next word, slog their daylight hours. Slog their daylight hours. Slog their daylight hours. Slog their daylight hours means work very hard. Okay, work very hard throughout the day. Work very hard all through the day or throughout the day. Work very hard all through work very hard all through the day. Work very hard all through the day. So please note down, I am going to rub it and make you write down some more words and their meanings. Next one, dark hutments. Dark hutments, that is number of dingy huts. Number of dingy huts. Number of dingy huts. Next word, roof over his head, that is shelter. Roof over his head, that is shelter. Next word, impose the garbage on the child, force the burden on the child. No, not garbage, it is baggage. Okay, impose the baggage on the child. Impose the baggage on the child. Force the burden on the child. Okay, so these are some words and phrases, meanings of which you must write. Now, let us discuss theme of the lesson. So, the plight of street children forced into labor early in life and denied the opportunity of schooling. This is the main theme of the lesson. The plight of street children forced into labor early in life and denied the opportunity of schooling. Sub-theme, the carelessness of society. The carelessness of society and the political class to the suffering of the poor. This is the sub-theme. Now, how we can justify the title, Lost Spring? So, as we all know that, as we all are aware that very well, spring is the season of optimism and hope. It symbolizes life. Unfortunately, millions of children in our country waste their childhood in rag picking and other hazardous industries. The joys of childhood, the vibrancy of spring is lost either in the garbage or in dingy cells with furnaces. The grinding poverty and tradition condemn the children to a life of exploitation. They see very little hope of escaping from their impoverished life of misery and deprivation. Moreover, years of mind-numbing toil or a kill-all initiative and the ability to dream, they resign themselves to fate. Now, Literary devices, figure of speech used in this lesson. Irony, in which line? Sahib-e-Alam, which means the Lord of the universe, in directly in contrast to what Sahib is in reality. Hyperbole, drawn in an air of desolation. Metaphor, irony. Simapuri, a place of the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. So this is metaphor and irony both. Contrast, for the children it is wrapped in wonder, for the elders it means a survival. Simile, as her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. Paradox, contrast. She still has bangles on her wrist, but not light in her eyes. Metaphor, sarcasm, contrast. Few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Metaphor, web of poverty. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over his shoulder. Hyperbole, metonymy, scrounging for gold. Hyperbole, sarcasm, and survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Through the years, it has acquired the proportions of a fine art. So you must note down these literary devices used in the lesson. They must be noted down in your fair notebook. I hope during reading and explanation it was also discussed, so you must have written. If not, then you can note them down now. Now let us go through the synopsis of the lesson. Sahib's family lives in Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. Metaphorically, about 10,000 poor rag pickers live in structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage of running water. They have lived here for more than 30 years without identity, without permits, but with ration cards. Food is more important for survival than an identity. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents that become transit homes. Children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival. And survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread. Those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh. That is Dhaka, from Dhaka, Bangladesh, back in 1971. They left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers because repeated floods swept away their fields and homes, leaving them on the verge of starvation. So, they came to India for better livelihood opportunity. Firozabad is dominated by Bengal industry. Most families are engaged in making bangles. People have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, and making bangles. Working in the glass bangles industry is physically and mentally hazardous. About 20,000 children work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures, in dingy cells without air and light. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. There is possibility of skin burn also. They live in stinking lanes chalked with garbage, in hovels with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in the permeable state. In spite of hard labor, many of them do not enjoy even one full meal of the entire day in their entire life. The cry of not having money to do anything except carry on business of making bangles rings in every home. Years of mind-numbing toil have killed all initiative and the ability to dream. They resign themselves to fate. Poverty, social customs, and stigma of caste conspire to keep the workers in the bangle industry of Firozabad in poverty. Sahukars, middlemen, law-keepers, bureaucrats, policemen, and politicians exploit these workers and create such a vicious circle that they are unable to break. They are unable to organize themselves into a cooperative because they get organized. Because if they get organized, they will be hauled up by the police, beaten and dragged to jail for doing something illegal. Moreover, there is no leader among them who could raise their problems and help them seeing things differently. Now, extra shorts, additional point of the lesson. On the writer questioning a child as to why he was barefoot. His simple answer was that his mother did not bring his shoes drawn from the shelf. But the other boy felt that it was just an excuse, as he would throw them off anyway, when yet another boy expressed his desire for shoes as he had never owned a pair in his life. The writer recalled that during her travel across the country, she had seen children walking barefoot in cities and on village roads. People had informed her that perpetual state of poverty of the people had informed her that it was lack of money but a tradition. It was not lack of money but a tradition to stay barefoot. But she wondered if this was only excuse to explain the perpetual state of poverty in the country. She had heard a boy from Udipi who prayed every morning for a pair of shoes. Sahib is scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. For children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. For the children, it was wrapped in wonder. Sometimes finding a rupee, even a 10 rupee note, or even silver coins, sometimes for the elders, it is a means of survival. Sahib liked tennis games, but he could not watch it standing behind the fence of neighborhood club. Once, some rich boy gave Sahib his discarded tennis shoes. The fact that there was a hole in one of them did not bother him. For one who had walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole was a dream come true. Mukesh's father is an impoverished bangle maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, then as a bangle maker, he has failed to renovate a house, send his two sons to school. He could only manage to teach them the art of making bangles. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother. She has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from the polishing the glass of bangles. She implies that a God given lineage can never be broken. Born in the caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles in every house in the street of Firozabad. The writer Annie Jung sees two distinct worlds. One of the family caught in the web of poverty, burdened by the stigma of caste in which they are born. The other a vicious circle of shahukars, the middlemen, the policemen, the law keepers, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. Together, they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down before he is aware. He accepts it as naturally as his father. The writer wonders if Savita, a young girl, knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. The old woman beside her still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. एक वक्त शेर भर खाना भी नहीं खाया. She says in a voice drained of joy. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. Her husband, an old man, knows nothing except bangles. All he has done is make a house for the family to live in. What many have failed to achieve in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. Mukesh wants to be a motor mechanic and is prepared to go to the garbage to learn. Extremely sorry, and prepared to go to the garage to learn. He never dreams of flying a plane As to slum dwellers in Firozabad, planes are a far-fetched reality. So when the writer asks him if he also dreams of flying a plane, he feels embarrassed. He is content with the dream of cars that he sees in his town, but few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Because of the limited exposure in slum of Firozabad, Mukesh dreams within his means. Okay, so it's all about the lesson. Now, let us discuss MCQs based on this lesson. Look at these extracts from food is it is even more. Okay, a complete paragraph from food is it is even more. Read from here to here. Okay, let me read it out, the complete paragraph for you. Food is more important for survival than an identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in fields that gave us no grain. Say a group of women in tattered saris. When I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers, wherever they find food, they pitch their tents that become their transit homes. Children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival. And survival in Simapuri means rag picking. So through the years, it has acquired a proportion of fine art. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is leaking roof, but for a child it is even more. Okay, so it's all about these extracts. Now, questions. First question: the phrase transit homes. The phrase transit home refer to the dwellings transit home refers to the dwellings that are option A, unhygienic, that is unhygienic, inadequate, fragile, is fragile, sorry, fragile and D temporary. So the phrase transit home refers to the dwelling that are unhygienic, inadequate, fragile and temporary. So we all know that option B, temporary, is correct. Okay dear students. So it's all about this video lesson. In my next video lesson we will discuss more. We will discuss, this is A only. We will discuss some more MCQs based on this lesson. So thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.